Whoa!
We did it. We're here. Hello, everybody. What's up? Welcome to Adobe Office Hours. My name is Andrew Hochradel. Who are you?
I am Nick Longo. So happy to be here. We're seeing so many great people in the chat already. This is going to be amazing.
Yes, and you know, if you've ever tuned in to Office Hours, we love doing giveaways. So we're going to start off the stream with a fun giveaway. What we want to see in chat is drop a question for us that you'd like us to talk about, that you'd like us to address, and we'll be picking some of those people to win one-on-one portfolio reviews with Nick and I.
Ooh.
And for those of you that don't win, we have a gift for you, and we're going to be giving you a pack of free fonts. That's right, free fonts for everyone. And you can find that by going to our Discord. If we want to flip over onto my screen, our Discord link is right there. And I know that one of our moderators is going to be dropping it as well. And the Discord is a great place to get connected, to get feedback, and to learn all about how you can put up your portfolio and make it the next level. All right. Oh, where did you get such amazing bow ties, Nick?
I will gladly admit this is Target, baby.
Yes.
Thanks to Narek for making the suggestion to get these on before the show.
Same here. lots of Target happening on this stream. And on the Discord, you can navigate over here and find the office hours. Click on that fall semester, and we will be posting links at the end of this stream for free fonts for everyone. It's going to get super lit in your font catalog. So make sure that you check that out at the end of the stream. And as far as our giveaways, Nick, do you want to pick somebody to pick as your one-on-one?
Ooh, yeah, I will do that. Should we do that now as it's coming through?
Go for it. Let's do it.
Let's see. I'm looking at, let's go with Haley.
All right. And I'm picking Clayton Gazik.
Perfect.
And if you were one of those people that we just called out, go ahead and send us a DM right here on Behance. Find the button, send us a direct message, and we'll set up a time to hang out with you and give you feedback, which leads us to Nick. What is this show? What are we doing here? What's happening?
Office Hours. We started this a few months back. I think we think it's around March. And our idea here was to give you guys on Adobe's live stream every Friday a really great, just an alternative from your school, from your work, from anything, helping you guys get ready, building a great portfolio. We have been actually right in the middle of fall semester right now, which is kind of cool. So we're doing all different kinds of great exercises and homework. And we meet every Friday, and this is our Adobe Max premiere.
We're excited. Cool. Yeah, so we will be live today as well as tomorrow, and then again on Friday, giving you all the advice we possibly could give. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about what we think makes a great case study and what makes a great portfolio. Nick, what's a case study? Before we jump in there, what is a case study?
We described it on Monday as something totally new, and this was great. It's kind of like if you were to consider everything that you have done a book, one of the chapters would be your case study. And your case study is where you tell the story as good as you can. You hold the hand of the viewer going through it. First things first, stating that objective, making sure you're letting those people know what exactly you are doing. What was the problem you solved, right? And most important, we're finding too, is showing some process. You've got to put some sketching. You got to put something in there that shows how you got to the end result. So that chapter now is completely full, right? From beginning to end.
Yep. Yeah. So each of those pieces are part of your portfolio, and each of those case studies, like Nick said, are like chapters in a book. Yeah. So we're going to hop in, and we are going to give you 5 tips that we think make really strong case studies. And then we're going to move in and actually look at some portfolios on Behance today and give our feedback. So Nick, do you want to talk about, first off, what makes a strong case study?
I would say for me, it's kind of everything we just kind of were mentioning there. Everything about what you have done to get to that end result. The key things, great. This is where you put in the most attractive, greatest hero shots of your work, and some really good copy, right? We've been talking a lot about how you write the right copy to help kind of connect the dots between each thing. What about you?
Yep. So I think the biggest things for me, my big one is to state the objective and then show the process, like the behind the scenes. And so talking about showing process, we want to see how bad you are so that we can appreciate how good you are, right? You can have totally terrible sketches, and that's totally fine to have as something that's in your portfolios and in your work. So moving right along, Nick, do you want to talk a little bit about how we think that people people should diversify their work in their
Yeah.
portfolios?
Now more than ever, I think is a perfect time for you guys to start looking at the work that you have and identifying if there's something missing. I know right now we've been telling a lot of our students to start thinking about other things that you could be doing. Have you designed something in the last few months that was very impactful or very informative? These are the things that headhunters, HR departments, creative directors are going to be looking for in the next few months to the next few years as far as how you communicate those things. So if you don't have anything like that, we're going to show you maybe in the next day or two a few examples of what diversifying your work could be. And that's different for everybody, right?
Yep. And case studies, Alicia, a good question. Do they apply to video portfolios? I would say that that's called more of a reel. You can do case studies for video portfolios if you're talking about production, if you're showing your editing process. A case study is all about inviting a friend over and telling them the story of how this project came along. So even if it is video, maybe don't even show the end video, just show your process that you've made to get there. Case study is more about conveying how you think than about what you do. So that's the really important part to me when I'm looking at case studies.
Yeah.
So again, showing your process, we want to see you document each of the steps, start out with the sketches, and then step us along the way. It's a lot like holding my hand, right? You're telling me to go on a journey with you. I need you to hold my hand and then go through. So push me at each point, push all the way through. So continuing on, let's talk about flex on scale. Nick, what do we mean by this idea of flex on scale?
We've been seeing some portfolios and some case studies that might have just been too overwhelming when it came to something that they really wanted to show their kind of like their skills and their creativity. The thing here, though, is if you do have something quite big, you do want to show that you can maintain that quality all throughout that entire thing and show consistency. So let's say you have a 50-page book, but you don't need to show every book of it, but you did show consistency in every one of those layouts. Do a quick GIF or something about it to show it in its entirety, but you're doing it in a much more clean and understanding fashion. I think there's a lot of definitions of this, but in general, it's if you have something big, if you have something great that is totally you, show it in strength.
Yep. And Jacqueline asks an awesome question. If my portfolio is video and 2D, should I have a case study for both? Yes, you can make as many case studies as you want. And I actually have made a full presentation website that is for my branding work and a separate one that is for my editorial work. So if you want to break them off because they don't really relate, 100% you can break them off as long as you can maintain the quality between the two. And for me, flexing on scale is the equivalent of, hey, I can hit a home run. Watch me hit 40 home runs. That it's showing that you're really, really good and you can maintain that goodness over whatever amount of time you need. So continuing on, let's talk about passion projects. Nick, I know this is a big one for you. When do you want to see passion projects versus client projects? We get this question a lot of like, do I only show client projects? Do I show student work? What do we put in our portfolios?
I like this idea of maybe holding off to the end with it. We've seen if it is nothing but passion projects that you've done, what a great impact it makes. And then it's a really fantastic, robust portfolio. But if it's something you're showing at the end, that's what you're remembered with. This is the stuff. It's totally okay to put this in there, guys. We've seen reviews and we've seen portfolio reviews where tons of instructors and professionals were watching. And the minute a passion project dropped, everyone just stopped in their tracks and wanted to look at every little detail. This tells me so much more about who you are than any probably project in your portfolio. Would you agree?
Yep, absolutely. And people are asking, where can we get this presentation? You can get it on our Discord. We'll be posting it at the end of the stream. We actually have more info for you from this that is in the Discord from our Adobe Bootcamp session on Monday. So there's going to be a ton of great resources. We'll have examples and things you can click through. So make sure you join that Discord right here and then navigate over to the fall semester tab. We'll be posting the free fonts as well as this presentation for you to go back over at the end. So love the questions that are coming in, keep them coming in, and we will answer as we go as much as we can. And my last point is that people hire people. Don't try to be perfect, be you. In your portfolios, in your work, people are asking, does this only apply to illustration or photography? Whatever you're saying, you're creative and you have a voice, and people don't want to hear a robot just repeating a message. I want to see a unique perspective. That's the real value that you bring as a creative, is your perspective. So show me in your case study what your perspective is.
We've been seeing this a lot today and yesterday in a lot of the Adobe Max speeches. every person is talking so much about that unique signature that is you, and making sure you're making that clear in all of your work. Believe me, it shows. Like, that's the kind of stuff, have your signature on everything, and it keeps a consistent value throughout everything.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you can join us this Friday. We will be doing at 1 p.m. a question palooza. We will be taking all of the questions that we've got this entire week. You guys are dropping a bunch of really great ones. I'm mentally bookmarking them as we go. And if there's a mod that wants to grab some of the good questions for us, that would be super helpful. We're going to be sitting on Friday, literally our lessons going out the window or just answering your questions. So join us tomorrow for another review, as well as Friday for our question palooza. All right, let's go ahead and hop into some portfolios. Does that sound good, Nick?
Yeah.
All right.
This is like old times, dude.
It's like old times. Nick, do we have a disclaimer that we usually say before we hop into
we
portfolios?
We do. Okay, guys, this is where you can just get out a notebook, because everything we're going to say right now, anytime we love doing this part two, critiquing portfolios. Just make sure anything you hear, it probably could be like totally associated to something that's in your book as well. Everything we kind of give is like those core principles that can really be the thing for any of you to learn from, regardless of your discipline, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep. And mods, if we could drop one of the links to the Discord server, that would be great. And yes, this is advice that will be for everyone. We'll be looking at portfolios that are a little more beginner, that are more intermediate, that are a little more advanced. And just because it's not your portfolio doesn't mean that you can't cheat off your neighbor's test and take the notes that we're giving them and apply it to your work. So pay attention. And if you have questions as well, drop those into chat. You know that we're here. I'm looking at every single one as it comes through and trying to vet and talk at the same time. So we'll get to what we get. And Pacific time is the time zone for this. Sorry about that.
A ton of my students are in the chat right now, and all of them have been using Dimension like crazy.
Yes.
It makes you, it puts you above that level of not going to the same mockups that everybody else is using. So
yep. And so
really
people are asking Adobe stock for mockups. Yup. Adobe stock is an amazing resource to grab mockups. And some of the Behance projects, people even provide you with their mockups that you can use there. So you can search on Behance. You can look on Adobe stock. There's a lot of great resources within the Adobe Creative Cloud floating circles that you can get mockups. And even that, find some good image, Photoshop it on there. Even if it isn't a mockup, Photoshop it on there, use Dimension, learn something new, because it makes the world of difference. And we are going to see that world of difference when we move on to the next one, which is Daniela A. Rice.
Yes.
So let's move into our next one.
I'm sorry, and ex-students as well are using it.
Yes.
I was corrected.
And so looking at this project, this is stepping a little bit further into a zone where we are having a full case study. Now, we've talked a lot about case studies, right? And we're talking about holding the hand. We're talking about walking us through the process. This is going to be a step a lot closer to what we want to see in a great case study. So I'm going to click on the Age of Sync and start looking at this. And right away, what is your impression when we land here?
Yeah, I obviously know what it probably is. I think we're talking about a watch app right off the bat. I love the idea of this. I love that it's the most recent watch model. Very, very important. I know that's something people spot out, particularly designers spot out quite quickly. This is great. She's getting into this idea of telling us a little bit. I know she improves with the next one we're going to look at, but I think we could have a little more explanation here. What do you think?
Yeah, I want to make a point here to show what the difference in our experience would be if this image and this image were flipped. Okay, so remember what I said. We want to put it in context. You always want your projects to be in context. This is a great illustration, but if we land here and it's like, oh, I designed the branding and the logo. Cool. But by landing on this image, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's this product that I can interact with. How does this come into my life? This is awesome. I want to look more into it. So doing something that puts it in context always takes your design to the next level. And in your case studies, this is how you tell me a story. This is how you grab my hand and you're like, let's go through this journey together. So scrolling through, now we start to see a lot more of that process. And Nick, what do you think about this UI UX kind of trends that happen in case studies?
Yeah, I like this is looking kind of cool. I'm a big fan of seeing ones, being that it's not a discipline that I'm in. I feel like maybe I can judge it a little more open-mindedly because I see a lot of the same stuff over and over again. I do like this. I don't know if the blue on blue on blue on blue, maybe a bright yellow as the background, or part of that orange or yellow from the dinosaur could be a great background to break up this heavy blue over and over and over again. That would be my first thought. And also too, I'm not quite sure. I don't know what it is yet. I do know it's an app. It looks like it's a challenge app, but I got to know.
Exactly. So let's, I'm going to walk you through, this is a POV TikTok, POV, you're looking at this case study. So we're looking at this case study. We land here and I think, oh, cool. This is cool. It's like a watch thing. That thing's really cute. Welcome to the age of sync. Okay. What is this? Like, okay, I'm ready for the age of sync. I scroll down and I'm like, okay, cool. This is a cool logo. So maybe we're going to show, the logo process. And then we get in, we're like, oh, okay. So it's like it's a game, I think maybe that I play with my body or something, and like I get rewards. That's cool. Like I like getting rewards. That'll be fun. And then I come down here. I'm like, okay, so I do it on my watch and I have to do something here to do something. And then it gets to, hey folks, check out my new app for the Apple Watch and iPhone. So at this point I've landed here and I'm already kind of, what is it? Why should I check this out?
Make it like totally apparent to you, right?
Exactly. So what I want to see is right at the beginning, we land here. Welcome to the age of sync, the future of fitness, right? And I'm like, oh, cool. It's a fitness thing. And then a little thing that's like, oh, here is, we wanted something cute. And here's our character. His name is Squatty and he's on this journey with you. And I'm like, yeah, I love Squatty. And then we come down here and it's like, you can earn things. And the goal was to get people off their couches and mobile by integrating good design and cute characters into an app. Right?
Exactly.
So defining what your problem is and how you're solving it at the beginning of that case study makes me more engaged and makes you look way smarter because it's showing how smart you actually are and all the thought process that's gone into this, not just the visuals.
Yeah. I think it's also like, it's obviously to me showing me that it's making exercise or charting your exercise a little bit fun. So if this is more geared to a child, we should know that up front too as well, because I feel like this is kind of universal. It could work for anybody, but it does have some fun factor to that again, which is great. But you're right, all those little nuances of great copy or a headline or two in between, that's all it needs to really like help tell this story a little bit more.
Yep, exactly. And Nick and I talk about this a little bit, but if you are writing a case study, you need to sell it like it's the best thing that anyone's ever seen. If it's, we get this question a lot, Nick, I'll ask you and you can give the response. Should I put, if I've done a bunch of student work, should I note that it's student work in my case study? Should I let everyone know that it is student work here on this case study?
At least 3 or 4 times?
Yes.
No, the answer is no. It is your work. It's your talent. It's your skill. It's your creativity, right? What we have said too is not only don't say it, but if there is something in there, and this is going to some of your ex-students that are in the chat room right now, refresh it. You can always go back and make it look, maybe it looks a little too student to you now because you did it 3 or 4 years ago. Refresh it, change it up a little bit. But again, do not mention, we've seen every reviewer and whatever just say, X that off immediately.
Yep. You are your work. Like your work is you. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. If it's personal project, if it's student work, just go for it and sell it. So let's look at, all right, we're taking another step, chat, walk with us. We're taking another big step into a great case study. And yes, chat, I don't know where Squatty came from. I'm so sorry. It was the first name that popped into my head. So let's look at a
fits the bill, babe.
It is. Let's look at a great case study. And right here, Nick, we land here. And what's your initial feeling?
Okay, mood. I'm getting vibes. I'm getting nighttime. I'm getting this cool Asian overlay to it as well. I'm feeling it's probably going to go into makeup or something a little bit. And I haven't even read a word yet. I'm just looking at tone and balance and that neon, all this little contrast of everything to me is just starting a great conversation. What do you think?
And it's all about visual communication. When we're landing on a case study and starting out that portfolio, I open this and again, it's like a book. And when I look at this, it's that first sentence. It's saying, in the year 3000, we're in a small village in Asia where the beauty community is exploding. Like, like new standards have come to like extreme highs to give you the greatest skin you've ever seen.
She's revealing from the back of the fan. It's like perfect, right?
Exactly. Yes. It's telling us all of this information visually by using
Totally.
colors, by using type, by using the arrangement of the pieces. This is not about this design, right? We look at this. I don't care at all about what's on this computer. I'm just getting the vibe and I understand what this project is, right? And then
Yes.
we scroll, and Nick, what's the best thing that has ever happened in a case study?
Concept and objective and something telling me what it is.
That's it. Yes. So you have
This
brought
is
us into
great.
that world, right? And think of it as that shot that you see in movies, right? We zoom through the doors open up, and then you're standing there and you're like, let's go. And I'm
Let's
like, where are we
go.
going?
I'm going to tell
That's
you a
what this is.
story.
Yep, exactly. So Obictario has gone to the other side of the world to be inspired by what is the newest makeup. And it was in the light of the East that came make be modern Asia new color effects, textures for you to shine. Discover the vibrant trends of Asian pop and let the Eastern brightness reflect on you. Oh
Good
my
copy.
gosh.
Like, what would you do if you don't think you have good copy skills?
So if you don't have good copy skills, find a copywriter and team up with them. Copywriters always want
Totally.
to get practice to work with you. Maybe find somebody that you're going to pay to write awesome copy for your case studies.
Great idea.
100%. If there are people you're looking to better your case studies, they're looking to practice copywriting, team up. Hang out. I forgot what the word was. So then continuing through here, this is what makes a great case study, right? We've gone in there, we've told them where we are going. And from there, what are we talking about next, Nick?
Color, typography. Notice the 2 is brought in as this kind of like next header. I'm feeling like she's putting page numbers in our chapter, dare I say.
Yep.
Very cool. I do think too, sometimes you could give us a break from a common dark color that's in the background. I know it's the mood, I know it's the vibe, but maybe a dark gold band every once in a while, I think could help break it up. I think we might see that later down here, but I love the idea here. Instead of, we've said this a few times, instead of giving the RGB breakdown of a color, give it a name.
Give it a name.
Give it a sexy name that someone's going to remember, that's based off of that program and and the brand itself. Love this look though. She's really nailing it. It looks great.
Absolutely. Yes. And presenting to me, it helps to tell that story, right? That if this isn't just RGB, if it's dripping gold, if we have, you know, like midnight rouge, like stuff like that, that it helps to tell that story. And that's what you want. You want to tell that story. So name your colors. It's more fun that way.
Yes.
And a lot of people asking, these look like they've been built out in InDesign or Photoshop. This probably has been, and it looks like it's uploaded as slides. So you can do that and then upload as slides on Behance, and you can design full custom. You can have these chapter markers, or you can drop the images on Behance and write your copy as you go.
Yeah, this looks great. Look, okay, see the breaks we're getting now, where obviously showing us the what the website looks like within this presentation. But I'm loving the way this looks. There's a great consistency with font, with product placement, with backgrounds. Just noting all of those things that sing together. I think that really, really helps. Love that she's even popped in this grid desktop thing with how it's being responsive.
Yeah. So
showing us that overlay. That's fantastic.
You can actually see here the overlay that's popping up. This is starting a new image. So it's a bunch of images that have been created that are put in there. And check this out. So this is what I kind of want to talk about, right? So we have this responsive. Here's the website. Great. But you're telling me your thought process. The combination of grids and flexible images makes the element automatically adapt to the width of any display. This is great. So even though this app that we saw, up here, right?
Yes.
We were super excited about, we're like, this is cool. Oh man, look at this UI. This is really fun. Being able to show the thought process of, like they are totally thinking through each and every piece of this. And then even here showing how it builds out into a broader system. And Nick, I know that you love seeing this in case studies.
Oh yeah. And I want to mention, Cara just mentioned, should it be one long solid image or do you break it up in slides? I would break it up, because a lot of times if you're just doing one, it will take all that time to load up regardless of what application you're using. So break it up so when that first one shows, it's crystal clear and all the other ones are loading up in the background as you'll scroll down. So that's always a good tip. Look at this. Like, I mean, again, now we're getting into like, I love this vibe of seeing things cropped off nicely. The same approach, the same graphics are now in the UI of the app. That's super smart. You don't want to see a disconnect there. And look at this. I mean, just stop the press. Come on. Moving right on the track with where we are with this. Okay, this has to be first in her Behance tile. And I think you got to, maybe this is a good point to mention how your order of your tiles are. Your most recent, most exciting work should be first. What do you think?
Yep. I definitely think that you should curate and kind of pick what goes on there and what doesn't.
Yeah.
We're actually going to look at a portfolio next that actually throws out everything that we've told you. And like we said, we're literally two guys here that are giving our opinions, that are giving our perspective and our experience on how we experience portfolios, what we think will be good for you. But there's a wild card, and we're going to look at that next, that you can throw whatever you want in there. And if you're going to own it,
exactly,
own it. And someone is asking if you are laying out UI, UX, or even motion reels. I'd love to see your wireframes, the behind the scenes of how you're building that. That's really what we want to see there. And Colby has a great question here. Should you consider how these case studies look on mobile devices as well? Absolutely.
Yes, that's so true. Oh, look at this. This is looking great. Yep. Nice little sign off at the end.
Oh,
I think two.
Shoot.
Oh, wow. That's even moving. Look at that. Very nice.
I love
Very
that.
Nice.
How many tiles should a good portfolio have? It's up to you. Whatever you feel like represents you well and tells your story, that's how many you need. You can join our Discord right here, bit.ly/fallsemester-al. It is case sensitive. I think that a mod will drop the link in chat for you. And then make sure you join us back tomorrow for our session, as well as Friday for our question palooza, 1 p.m. Pacific time. We will be answering all of your questions. And if you're unfamiliar, Nick, what have we been doing this semester?
Oh, just a little thing called like school fall semester. Really fun. We have topics per class. You'll get some homework that you can share on the Discord channel, and we chime in on there. But if anything, it's just another great environment and another great community to work with, a ton of other designers. It's really neat to see it become quite a little community, and love seeing everybody here. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. So
really
we
cool.
are doing a full semester of classes. We have lessons each week, a little bit of homework for you, and a great community. So make sure that you tune in on Friday. We'll give you all the information about that. And oh my gosh, I asked for questions, and boy, are you guys getting it in there.
Gosh.
So someone asked that I saw, is it better to have a website or a Behance? What's your opinion on that?
Well, you start with a Behance, and then you can turn it into a website using Portfolio.
That's right. So you can have both, best of both worlds, and you can start by building your Behance. Once it gets to a place where you feel comfortable, we're excited about it, you can flip that over into an Adobe portfolio very easily, and we'll be showing you that tomorrow. And if we want to go back to just our talking heads, I'm not going to be sharing anything else on the screen. It's just going to be us answering your questions for the rest. Where can you find the presentation? I will be putting the presentation on our Discord server at the end of this in about 5 minutes. And Nick, what else is going to be in that Discord server?
Ooh, I think we have some free fonts. I believe so.
That's right. We'll be dropping some free fonts for you guys. So you can download those and play around with those. Somebody has been asking, I have a small snippet like about me slides in my portfolio. Is it worth it to keep there, or would it come off as egotistic?
Not at all.
Nope.
On the About Us page, that's the perfect place to do it. We were just having this conversation about maybe taking it off the resume, which a lot of students are doing, it seems like, and put it in that About Me page or some section there on your website. I'm a big fan of that, 100%.
Absolutely. And a lot of people asking tomorrow, it is at 1:30 p.m. We will be going live. It may be at 1, so just coming out at 1 o'clock and we'll see what happens. It's either 1 or 1:30 tomorrow. We're still working out some schedule stuff. But let's plan on 1:30. And if you show up at 1, we'll be hanging out and chat with you, answering questions and whatnot. And
I see a great question.
Hit it. We got 4 minutes. Let's do it.
She says, my employer doesn't give her the permission to use her work on a portfolio. What should you do? Maybe just don't have a public portfolio. If you are going to share it with a potential employer that is going to interview you, I'd say it's fine to show one-on-one. Just don't have a public one. You have to show something, right? I mean, they can't hold you from doing that. They can't hold you from doing it on a public site.
Yes. And Catherine, great question for photographers. Would you recommend having portrait work in your case studies? Yes. If that's the work that you want to get, show that work.
Totally.
But
Yeah.
don't just show the behind the scenes. What I want to see is, and photographers, this is going to blow your mind, sketch your shots before you take them. Use colored pencils, do your lighting where you want everything to be. And then I want to see that in a case study. I want to see the broad shot of how your studio is set up. I want to see the outtakes of the models. I want to see the before and after your retouching. I don't really care about the final product most of the time. I just want to see how you got there. So the photographers, I think that is a cardinal sin that I see so many Behance profiles that are just photos. I want to see all of the steps that it took you to get there. I think there are other platforms that are for like the polished button up, like, look at how amazing I am. I think Behance is so great for showing that process, and anything you can do to incorporate that and foster the community of feedback, please put that on Behance.
I love to see that. I think maybe a photographer taking that extra step would stand out beyond head and shoulders of so many others, because I think we're not seeing that in a lot of the other disciplines. So using this model, whatever creativity you do, these case studies, these things will really, really help you kind of stand out. And that's what everybody's asking for.
Absolutely. And someone said, should I group projects by employer? No, I don't think so. Just, it's your work. And the same thing with student work versus like client work. It's work. Just show your best work, whatever you're proud of. If you're not proud of it, then pull it off. One of the harshest critiques I've ever given on Adobe office hours, we looked at a portfolio and I immediately said, I don't care about this because obviously you don't either. And that is, if there is work that you see that I can tell that you don't care about it and that you're just putting it up to have another project, I'm going to roast you. If you don't care about it, then I can't care about it. I want you to sell it like it's the best thing ever. I always say this, pitch it like you stole it. Like pitch it like it's the greatest thing that you've ever seen. And Nick, we've got about 30 seconds left. So let's start a sign off. Any closing words?
Oh my gosh. I would just say, tune in tomorrow. We're going to continue this. Feel free to reach out on us. Both Andrew and I are totally in on Instagram. You can follow us there. Make sure if there's any questions we didn't get, we'll try to add it in there on tomorrow. That would be fantastic.
And go get that presentation and those free fonts in the Discord right now. Ahmad will drop that link for you. And we will see you all tomorrow on the next episode of Adobe Office Hours.
Bye, guys. Thanks for the great session.